everyone. We'll start the class. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam Shruti-smriti-purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat-pada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Patarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhanaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay. Yes. So please. Okay. So we are Hari Om Ji Namaste everyone. We are seeing chapter 4, verse 13. Here it is. Okay. And here he is explaining to us about how him being the giver of prasad, the enabler of prasad, results equally to everyone, having no preference, bias, ragadvesh, or moh in any way. He only generates, fructifies, manifests the result that the jiva has asked or approached Ishvara for. So the question was, if you are the one who is Phaldata, then why is it that people worship others and don't come straight to you? That is a possible query in a person's mind. Since he is the Phaldata, would it not be better, wiser, direct path, straight, go to the president if you want relief from jail, and if you know that you are capable of being relieved from jail, go straight to the president. Why do you go in between? Krishna answers here, The reason being, desires that people have for which they approach the higher forces in human world, these are very easily manifestable. बड़ा आसानी से दिया जा सकता है. In other words, if I'm a millionaire and if someone asks me I want a loan of 1,000 rupees, uh, it's easy. Abhi le lo. It's like, and loan ki kya hai? Just take it. You don't need to take a loan. If I'm a millionaire, if you ask me for 1,000 rupees, it's easy to give you. I have no hesitation, or I don't need time to collect that for you. Watch that word. I don't need time to collect that because I already have it. I can myself straight away give it to you. But if you ask me for 10 million when I'm a millionaire, then A, I'm not qualified to give you. I can only give you what I have. If you ask me for 10 million when my jurisdiction is only up to 1 million, that also I cannot give all of it away. What I can give you is out of that. So you asking me 10 million out of it itself is unreasonable in the first place. Secondly, it's not in my capacity to give it to you even if you ask. And you can go on asking. You can go on uh, asking, give me, give me, give me, give me. But I don't have the capacity to give you. Who has the capacity to give you if your need is 10 million? The one who has 10 million. He can give you 10 million. Thus, he says, human lok, in human world, lok means srishti, world. In the world of humans, their desires are like asking for 1,000 rupees, bhi nahi, 10 rupees, 1 rupee. I call them lollipops, pleasures of lollipops, lollipop pleasures. This is all that we may, to us, it may look like a huge thing. But from the standpoint of the gods, it is peanuts. It's insignificant to grant these desires fulfillment, provided you have something in your account from where they can manifest this fruit. So he says it's very easy in the human world. Any desire can easily be met compared to. The question is, it can be very misleading if we do not listen carefully. When we say it is easy, it looks as if, like my example, 1,000 rupees is easy, effortless. So maybe all desires, hamari, we can feel like that. We can ask God to give us, meet our desires. It's not like that. Easy it is compared to when you approach a 10 millionaire, whatever it's called, a, one who has 10 million, you approach him for 10 million and you approach a millionaire for 1,000, which is easy. So according to your own capacity, it is easy compared to asking, pursuing Paramatma straight, not asking devtas in between, asking him straight, but he in turn says, I am only approachable if you have a Nishkam Bhav. I can generate fruits for you, but what are my fruits? My fruits will be according to how you, what you asked, and I am approachable if you have Nishkam. Means you can approach me. You can seek me. But to seek me, you have to have developed a Nishkam Bhav, which means you don't need me for any of your desires. That takes time, that takes effort, that takes perseverance, that takes tapas. So, compared to those fruits, which is Jignasu and Gyani, compared to them, the other two fruits are Shipram. Then the question was, having quoted the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, he says, just as a pashu also, an animal, a pet, especially a domesticated pet, whom we domesticate to serve us. So the pet is working for us to get its little bread and shelter, a little food and shelter. For the sake of little food and shelter, is ready to do so much work for us. How much does a mule carry weight for the owner to get? what what does a mule get from the human owner? Just a little food and water and a little shelter, and if it really falls sick and if the owner feels without the mule, my work will get affected, unless until the situation is like that, won't even get treated. So I'm sure the spirit is getting conveyed. You're absorbing the spirit of this. What is the spirit? He says, when humans approach devatas for phal prapti, you are as good as a pashu for them. They are um, the millionaire. You've asked them for 1,000 rupees. That's how you are. So you work for them, you please them, you do lot of archana, you do lot of, but for a little thing that is effortless for them to give. They are much more than just their capacity to give this much. If you understand the bottom line, one of the things you draw out from this is the desires we seek are childish. The desires we hold are extremely childish as adults. When we say it's childish, it means what? Just as a child wants a toy. How desperate and how needy is the child for a toy? How much his happiness depends on that toy, that sports car for a boy, and that sorry, that little, which doesn't even have a motor. You have to push it by your hand. This little toy looks like a sports car. How much the child wants that toy. Here, Shastra, by telling us it's Shipram for Manushya Lok, is one thing we draw out from it is our desires, which look to us as if they are a lot to ask, as if without them we'll be destroyed. We will मर ही जाएंगे. We will die if I don't get this, or I'll be miserable, or I'll be unhappy. All these conditions that we have to our happiness, all of this put together are childish, is what you draw out from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Pashu eva. Our existence becomes like that of a animal serving us. Lot of work, and you get this much back. That is what it means. He says, therefore, Bhinna Devtas, different Devtas, people worship, because it's easy for those Devtas to bless them and give them. And why only Manushe Loke is this Shipram? So, first thing is, your desires are met, Devtas are blessing with it, and those Devtas are, if you externalize them, then they are those deities outside. But the same deities are also the rulers of our own indriyas. We've done them in different contexts. They are also the masters, the very power with which these indriyas function. They are also devtas over here serving these devtas. You're using all faculties, worshipping them, serving them to, to get a few things back. First point, Shipram, easy for them to give you. Next is Manushya Loke, Shastra Adhikara. Why only in Manushya Lok? Because only in Manushya Lok we have Shastra Adhikar. And why Shastra Adhikar? Because I say this again and again, it's my basic format around which the thought gets built up. If you do not follow the Shastra, Shastra says you have no choice but to follow your senses. By default, anyway, we are following our senses. And senses seek instant pleasures, instant gratification. They are volatile, they are fickle, they are restless. Mm. They need instant gratification. They constantly, you know, how much cricket was a good example. I can say how our attention span keeps reducing. We do not know of the time behind, but as we hear and as we read, people used to hold the whole Shastra on one Shravanam in their mind. They would hear and it was in their memory. Sutras would be memorized, verses would be memorized. All Shastra was held in the mind. Before it was given away to someone else, they held it in their mind. That's the capacity of human mind. What is the capacity? Whatever you hear, whatever you see, you can hold it. It's a what are those banks, disks, your hard drives and it's got much more than 5 trillion GB, and it's infinite. You can hold a lot of information
That
there.
capacity we have.
Yes, that's the capacity our Antakarnam has to hold so much. But as time passes, and as we saw in the Upodghat introductory bhashyam of Gita also, as time passes and people get more and more sense centered, Indriya centered, less and less attention is available because senses move, need a lot of feeding. They need a lot of excitement. They need a lot of triggering, whatever word conveys to you. They need a lot of activity. You can't just say, keep your eyes focused on one thing for some time. What will happen? Huh? You say, okay, I'll start practicing, uh, look at a flower or look at a candle. And after some time, your eyes want to see something else. Then you want to see something else. So that's how tourism is there. And that's how, because one place just does not give us the same pleasure after some time. Senses have the law of neutralization. Our pleasures get neutralized, means they get excited at a certain point, and the more you feed it, thinking that it will again give me the same excitement, the same dose will again give me the same excitement, it doesn't happen like that. Next time, for the same excitement, I need a higher dose. So if I watch something, or if I'm a traveling bug, if I have, I think, okay, I'll travel one place and I'll be happy after that. I travel one place and then my senses now get excited. Now, one is not enough. I'll need to go more. Food, anything, any of the sense pleasures, they have a law of neutralization with them, which means the same level of contact will not give me, yes, laws of diminishing returns, that's right. The same level of contact will not give me the same level of pleasure all the time. In fact, that's the word, law of diminishing values, returns. Every time I contact, I get less and less. So I have to increase my and that's the principle of addiction everywhere. So I go on increasing my contact for that little, but my pleasure goes on reducing. As a result of which, the senses have become extremely uh, fickle. And what is it now? Cricket, as I was saying, 5 days people could sit around, say, and have 5 days, was like a festival. Cricket in India is like a festival, 5 days, and I still remember the conversations that was going on from the where the booth where the commentators speak, and the discussion literally came up that they were discuss. Who knows? Very soon we may have 2020, and it was laughable at that time. Sure enough, 2020's come. Sure enough, first 50-50, then 2020. It is happening everywhere. Even in this media now, you have shorts coming. That little fickleness. All I'm trying to say is here, connecting it to this what we are studying. If we do not follow the principles that Shastra lays down to us, we have no choice but to follow our Indriya. And this is the Swabhav of Indriya. Indriya senses, they are fickle, they need to be fed all the time. And senses feeding means you're feeding the mind because mind is connected to the senses. If your mind is not kept attached to the buddhi, and buddhi gets attached to shastra, if this is not the direction of jiva's purusharth, I'll repeat, if jiva's life gati means how he conducts life, how he chooses in life, how he chooses to live life, if he does not choose, if he chooses to allow the senses to overpower, the mind goes away with the senses. The horses, Kathopanishad example. But the other way is the jiva decides this mind has to be kept attached to buddhi. बुद्धि के साथ जोड़ के रखो. जो मेरी बुद्धि मुझे कहे मैं उसी में राजी. Mind should be obedient. To who? To your reasoning faculty, to your discerning faculty. The minute the mind is listening to reason, listening to your faculty, objective faculty, when mind is attached to buddhi, buddhi needs to be attached to the shastra because shastra guides what is right and wrong. Shastra tells us what is good and bad. Shastra tells us what is to be done and what is not to be done. Shastra tells me what is my role and what is not my role. I get my buddhi gets the knowledge from where? Not from the world and the senses. The buddhi that gets equipped by the sensory world, which is like science and other branches of knowledge which pertain to the world itself, that knowledge does not tell me what is right and wrong. So I may have a double PhD in very beautiful subjects, artificial intelligence, and along with it, maybe robotics. I have PhD in two subjects. But any amount of PhDs in the world will not tell me what I should be doing if my partner has a complaint against me. I don't know what to do. Simple thing like this. I don't know how to deal if my child is a tantrumist. What should I do? That what should I do is only given to us by Shastra, and it is not moral science. I have to repeat this a billion times again. It's not moral science. Shastra is not moral science. Shastra is that knowledge which tells us, it equips the intellect, the buddhi, to learn for itself what is my right thing to do now. And when I keep on doing the right thing at that appropriate time, what is the right thing for me to do in this cosmos, in this where I find myself as an interdependent jiva? What am I to do? The minute I know what is, that clarity is there, that adhikar based on Shastra Vidya to act on it is Manushya Loka only. That knowledge is here. So he says, Manushya Lok, you have this privilege that you have a knowledge available based on which the data that what is right and what is not right can be known, and then you can do your karmas based on that. Another reason here, Shankara says, why do they say Manushya Loki? Because here he wants to specify the Shipram is there only in Manushyalok. Karma Phal Siddhi is seen in other lok also. So elaboration is not given here. We do not know about other lokas, but that's a point to say that though you can have karma phal siddhi in other lokas also, but shastra adhikara based and the fact that it can be shipram is only here. And what is the shastra adhikar based gyan? How does it tell us what is to be done and what is not to be done? What is my role and what is not my role? Having that knowledge, he says, Varna ashram based karma, when you do them, Sakam Drishti, you will go to Devatas and you will ask what you want. Varna ashram based karmas, when you do Nishkam, you will come to me and ask only for Jignasa, Gyan, and then I'll give you the Gyan of Nishkam Karma. All these that you are doing, Shastra Vihita Karma, Shastra Vihita Karma that you are doing, if you do it Sakam, you go to Devtas, Devtas will give you pleasures, will give you results. You do the same Shastra Vihit Karma, Nishkam, you come to me. Phala Siddhi comes. And then he said, Manush eva loke varna ashram adi karma adhikara na anyeshu lokeshu iti niyamaha. What is the niyam? What is the, where do you get this from? That only in Manushya Lok do we have this varna ashram adhikar based karma. That is one point. Athava, other connection to the next verse he makes is Varna Ashram Adi Pravibhaga Upetaha. Uh, Varna Ashram Adi Pravibhaga Upetaha Manushyaha. When someone acts on Varna Ashram Adi karmas, they pursue only that karma. Upetaha, they are in pursuit of that. Manushyaha, people, mama vartma anuvartante sarvashaha. From all sides they come to me, you said in the 11th verse. By following Varna Ashram Adi karmas, they are only doing those karmas. How are they following you? How do they come to you? How are they on your path? Means how are they coming to Nishkama karma? Kasmat punaha karanat. What is that reason again? Niyamena. Tav eva vartma anuvartante na anyasya iti. So what does that reason tell us? In other words, that when you act on varnashram karma, from all sides, even if you've gone, Devtas bless you, even then you are only pursuing Ishvara. You're going to him. The fruit will come from him. How do you say that? So he had said this, and we saw this yesterday, but quickly, he says, because I am the one who's created Varnashram. What is the question? The question is, how is it that by following Varnashram, people come to you? From all sides. Whether they know it or they don't know it. They may say that I am doing my Varnashram karma, but I am worshipping the Devatas. Bhagwan says, even then, you are coming to me only. Why? Because I am the one who's created this creation. I am the one who's made this creation. How? Giving the segregation of this fourfold types of people. I'm the one who's done this fourfold segregation of people based on only based on qualities, gunas, and karma. What is it they have to do? So their duties. Based on the qualities and the karmas, I am the one who's made this creation of Chaturvarnyam. Then, Tasya, I am the karta of it. But being the karta, though I have created, because when you create, you are the karta. So he says, I am the one who's originated them. So in that sense, I am a karta. But even though I have done this karma, means I am created this, Vitti akartaram avyayam. Know me still to be akarta and avyaya. Paramarthik drishti, I remain akarta avyaya. And what is this creation of Chaturvarnyam then? It is just Maika creation. I have created this, but it is not my nature. I am not, um, going to explain in the next verse. I am not lipt. Lipt means I am not bound by my karma. That's what he means to say. I remain akarta and avyaya. So we've done the bhashyam, and just a quick, we will see. There's just very little interesting point. Uh, I think we've covered it. Is it better that I do the whole thing, or should I skip if the verse is understood? I'm talking about the 12th verse. Should I do the bhashya? The meaning is very similar to what Shankara has given. It doesn't have, there is always a extra repetition, always gives us more consolidation. There is no doubt about it. But I don't.
Can you do the fashion?
Sorry, can we?
Can you do the fashion?
Ah, yes, of course. Very much. Thank you. I just don't want you to be over. Wonderful. Thank you. Karmanam Siddhim. What is Karmanam Siddhim? That is the Moolam. I hope by now we have understood that, right? The Moolam words means these basic verses that are there in the Bhagavad Gita. On those verses are these acharyas who have commented on them. A specific type of a commentary is called bhashyam. Bhashyam is the nature in which it's a style of commenting. In that style of commenting, there is a lot of factors that are taken into consideration before making a commentary. It's highly, extremely compact so that the error of misinterpreting is not there or is reduced completely. So you can't just interpret it in any way. There are rules within which it is interpreted. So it must cover word meaning, it must cover uh, the whole siddhant, it must match with the beginning state pratigya, it must have the conclusion, and it must also consider purva pakshas, means what other people contend against. So all that has to be taken, purva paksha view, and then the answer. That's called bhashya. So since every word of the Moolam has to be explained also, so you find in the Bhashyam the words taken and then the meanings given by the Bhashyakars. Shankaracharya is called a Bhashyakar, but this is also Bhashyam, but the name Bhashyakar refers to Shankaracharya. But it doesn't mean that's the only Bhashyam. Bhashyam is a style. Other teachers have also taken it up to say that. So Karmanam Siddhim is in the Moolam. What is it? Phala Nishpattim. Originating the phal, giving the phal. Kankshantaha, as desired, again in the Moolam. Iha, Moolam. Loke. So mostly you see this blue equal to sign that I mark. If you see, that means the Moolam word, this is the meaning given. So Iha is in the Moolam. Loke means world. Devata, again in the Moolam. Who are these Devatas? Devan Indra, Indran, Agnyadi, Yajante. So all these Devatas in the form of Indra, Agni, etc. Yajante, again in the Moolam, Pujyanti. You worship them. Now, this is the line which is literally not giving more information. But the next word that Madhusudanji adds gives more depth to Shankaracharya ji, what he has written. It drives one layer of information more into our understanding. Who are these who approach the devatas in this world with desires? Ajnana pratihatatvat. Hat means marna. Pratihat means struck by. Struck by agyan. Those who have agyan means who are struck by agyan, they are the ones who worship the devatas. So, what is the nature of agyan? We have said always remember, all agyan is the root of all kam. Kam is desire. Agyana, kama, karma, phala. Phala, bhoktritvam means because of phala, janma again. That's the cycle. What is a seed? Agyan. So when someone is asking for some limited results from Bhagwan, Agyana pratihatatvat, that is beautifully conveyed, means they have been destroyed by Agyan. They are overcome. Agyan is the force with which they are thinking that by getting these small lollipop pleasures, I'll be happy. Natu nishkamaha santaha. They are not nishkamis. So they approach these devtas, whoever approaches the devtas, they are not nishkami. Santaha means they are not nishkamis. Mam, who's mam? Bhagwantam. Who's Bhagwantam? Bhagwan. Vasudevam iti. Sheshaha means you have to understand that Bhagwantam Vasudevaha. When he says you come to me, they worship um, Manusha Siddhir Bhavati Karmaja. So, Mam Bhagwantam Vasudevam iti Sheshaha. You have to understand they don't have Nishkamata. Um, for me, Vasudev, Bhagwan, Nishkamata, they do not approach. Kasmat, how? He, Yasmat, because Indra Adi Devata Yajinam, the worshippers of Indra Adi Devata, Tat Phala Kangshinam, they are also desires of respective phals. Karmaja Siddhihi. Again in the Moolam, Karmajanyam Phalam. So, phal that is born from karma. So, here you get the clarity. Devtas can't give you fruits out of their whims and fancies, also. They cannot choose and give you, okay, I choose today. Today is what is Black Friday or Good Friday or Lucky Day or something. And I choose today, I will be choosing a set of people and I will give from my side. No. Karma janyam phalam. The phal that you also get is only your karma janyam. Shipram. Because you're approaching them, you're doing your karma. Archana, puja is that karma that you're doing or whatever else you're doing. That karma janya phalam is shipram, shikram eva bhavati. So it's quickly it comes. Where? Manushe loke. And this is a beautiful line here. Jnana phalam tu. So all karma phalam is shipram. But jnana phal, what is jnana phal? What is called jnana phal?
Moksha.
Moksha. Excellent. Excellent. So jnana phal is not shipram. That's the addition Madhusudanji adds. Karma phal is shipram. But jnana phal is tu, dependent on, indeed, antakarana. That tu means vailakshanyam from karma phal. Vailakshanyam means showing the difference between karma phal and jnana phal. While karma phal is easy to get, when you approach the Devtas with karma, Jnana phal requires antakarna shuddhi apekshatvat. It is only possible if there is antakarna shuddhi. So, Jnana phalam tu antakarana shuddhi sapekshatvat. Sapeksha means along with. That antakarana shuddhi is the condition for jnana phal to come. And jnana phal is moksha. So for moksha to happen, for moksha, why to happen? For moksha, what is the apeksha? What is the condition? Antakarna shuddhi. Therefore, na shipram bhavati. It does not come easily. It does not come quickly. So Gyan Phal does not come quickly, which means Nishkama Karma Phal does not come easily. We can't even see it. But Sakama Phal is easily comprehensible. It comes quickly. I ask for something and I get it. And it is very, very, very true. People kind of disbelieve, when we say this, especially when I say this. But once you're on the path of moksha, in your own capacity, in your own way, and you have turned your face away from sakamata and its fruits, and you say, you know at least starting point, you start your sadhana from, and you say, I am not going to be, you take a resolve, what Bhagwan's creation, he has provided for, he's provided for all beings. Why should I put my effort there? Which is food, water, shelter, clothes, all these kind of securities for the physical body. If your attention is not there and you continue pursuing this, shipram, even if the vaguest in one thought also comes by the next thought, that fructifies. That is the level of um, even sakamata to get fulfilled. In case that it's like, in other words, I don't know if my sentence was complete, I'm completing it, repeating it. If someone is pursuing sakam karma, you may get the result. But he had said in the previous portion, Shankara had said, then you are not a mumukshu. They both don't go together. Remember that? Last class we saw that in Shankara's Bhashyam, that if you're a sakama karmi, then you're not a mumukshu. But if you're a mumukshu, what I'm adding today now, but if you're a mumukshu, sakama karmas, whatever you have, you don't have to do those karmas. Whatever your desires are and whatever your needs keep arising, there is almost because it's shipram. To fulfill this from your bank balance of, it's shipram for Bhagwan to manifest it. But your antakarnam should be nishkam. You have to attach to what? You have to attach to the path of moksha, which means I am doing what I'm supposed to do. And at this point, since my entire jnana phal is dependent on antakarna shuddhi, I am only doing antakarna shuddhi. And for antakarna shuddhi, what do I want? Again, he has said already, karma yoga and upasana yoga are your only means for antakarna shuddhi. And gyan shravanam, of course, to some extent. Then he says now also another, manushe loke karma phalam shigram bhavati. This is all in the moolam. Iti, in this way. Visheshanat anya loke api. By mentioning this separately, Visheshan, as a specific thing when it's mentioned, Anya loke api is also indicated. What is indicated? Varna, ashrama, dharma, vyatirikta karma phala siddhihi bhagavata suchita. Visheshanat, what is that defining it separate from? In this lok, it's shigram. But Varna in other lokas also, karma phala siddhi is possible. Varna ashrama dharma vyatirikta. Without varna ashrama vyatirikta. That's right. Yeah. Yes, Bhavna. So, Vyatirikta karma phala siddhir bhagavata suchita. Yataha tattat kshudra phala siddhyartham. That shudra is what I was calling as lollipop. From a millionaire, you ask 10 rupees. Shudra means बहुत छोटा. Shudra means बहुत minuscule, petty, very little. To us as jivas, it looks like our end of the world. But actually speaking, they are so small. They are so, they reduce your stature to, to very, becoming very small. They reduce your stature to becoming very small when you fall for for these desires, saying, oh, if I don't get this, I'll be miserable. So it's a Shudra Phala Siddhyartham. There is small phalas, and for the sake of their siddhi, sakama, that's their sakam. But what happens? Moksha vimukha. They turn their face away from moksha. Vimukh hona matlab, they look other side. Moksha se vimukh hoke. That is sakama drishti. So it can only be possible if you turn your face from moksha. That turning the face from moksha is looking at sakamata. The direction in which you would look would be sakam, and therefore shutra phala siddhya, for the sake of this sakam, which is shutra phala siddhi. And what is moksha? What is a phal? Moksha.
It's eternal.
It's eternal. Excellent. Wonderful. It has all phal in it. It's got all anand. It's paripurnam. उस फल को छोड़ के, उसको छोड़ के आप इन लॉलीपॉप प्लेजर्स में अपनी मुख को विमुख, मतलब मुख को टर्न कर रहे हो. यू आर टर्निंग योर अटेंशन टू fulfilling these small pleasures, and you're taking your attention away from the paripurnata that you are. Vimoksha vimukha anya devata yajante, and therefore you worship the other gods. Ataha na mumukshava iva mam vasudevam sakshat te prapadyante iti artha. Therefore, they are not mumukshus like a mumukshu. Therefore, they are not mumukshus. And as a mumukshu would, Sakshat Vasudeva Pratipad, they would approach Sakshat Vasudeva. I want, like Nachiketas we saw, that's our best example. I want only Atmagyanam. Keep everything else to yourself. That, he says, therefore, they do not approach me. Now it's clear. Yesterday, Neetuji, you had also asked, and I think Bhavna, you had also asked something.
Yes, Diptiji. The realization is that Lord Krishna is so clever. He has so beautifully put it. You are being happy in such a small thing, where you can ask for such a beautiful thing, and तुम इतने छोटे से खुश हो जा रहे हो.
Absolutely. और नहीं मिलने पे रो रहे हो.
Right.
मतलब that is more important. That
Yes.
little pleasure, if you've not got something in life, you're crying for that.
Correct.
That is the worst thing. That's samsar.
And when the whole thing is there in front of you,
Exactly.
you are getting happy with these small momentary things.
Correct.
So beautiful. So beautiful.
Absolutely. He says in one of the places, I think it was Mandukya, where he says, Apta kamasya kaspriha. For an aptakami means the one who's fulfilled. Apta means one who's a jnani. Kaspriha, what desire do they have? What is the desire there? That is not a question. What is the desire of an aptakami? It's not a question. It's aksheparthaha. Aksheparthaha means, for such an aptakami, where is the desire? They have no desire. So if your attention is for moksha, then for these things you have very little desire. To complete it, he says, Manushe loke karma phalam शीघ्रं भवति इति विशेषणात् अन्यलोके अपि वर्ण आश्रम. Have we done this? No? We just did it. Sorry. Vasudevam sakshate pratipadyante ityarthaha. Okay. So for now we are clear up to 12th verse. Now 13th verse, which we have seen the bhashyam, we'll see this. Because he says ajnana pratihatatvat. From ajnanam you have kama and karma, and then bound by phal. What happens? He says sharira arambhaka guna vaishamyad api na sarve samana swabhava iti aha. By all these different karmas that we are doing, they become the seed for another Vaishamya, different Sharira Arambha. They become the reason for another body to take. I see, Nishi, you are here.
So another birth.
Another birth. So you take on another body. Sharira Arambhaka. Arambhaka means they are the very cause of taking another body. Guna Vaishamyat api. Because there is a difference. Sharira Arambhaka means they're the very cause of you taking another body. And it is not the same. Na sarve samana swabhava iti aha. It is not the same. If you read the Hindi of this also is a very good translation. Sharira arambhaka guno ke vaishamya ke karan. Different. In your sanchita, you have all collection. One proposition, theory, explanation is just before you die, the thoughts that you have, they become the propulsive force for the next body to be gained. So from the totality, before you die, but just before you're giving up this body, the next set of prarabdha thoughts, they rise up. Means they become the force, or the next set of force of thoughts become the prarabdha for the next body. That's why they say it's very important before you die. He also says Antakale, I keep repeating it all my, I think as many years I have taught, this is one steady thing I keep repeating again and again. Because he says it throughout the Gita, throughout the Shastra. Either you're a Jivan Mukta, or at least before you die, make sure that you are attached, your mind is attached to Ishwar, to Bhagwan, to your vichar, whichever your highest point of sadhana is. Hold that. That is a discipline. And that discipline cannot be easy till you live a life like that while you're living. So even then there is no assurance, because we don't know what all we have collected in our. So Sharira Arambha means new body takes place. वैषम्य, गुणों के वैषम्य के कारण भी सभी मनुष्य समान स्वभाव वाले नहीं होते. So not everybody gets the same kind of, everybody has, in fact, in other words, everybody has different bodies because of our different karmas that we have accrued. So to say this, what is that Vaishamyat? Beautiful connection. What is that Vaishamyat in our karmas from? For which he says Chaturvarnyam. We all have different gunas, so we do different karmas. So connecting that previous verse to this verse, he says, now we'll go straight to the Bhashyam because we've already done the Mula. Ch4 varna eva chaturvarnyam swarthe shai. This is the grammatical portion explaining how Chaturvarnyam has come. Maya. What is the verse? Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam. So Maya is who? Ishwarena, by Ishwar. Srishtam, again Moolam, Utpaditam. Utpaditam means उत्पादित होता है, is emerged. I think now, can you see the blue lines? But I cannot see the whole set, so I'll have to keep it here. Okay. So he says, Utpada, what has been created? Guna karma vibhagashaha. And that again, like Shankara, he says Guna vibhagashaha karma vibhagashascha. Just a breakup, grammar breakup of the words guna and karma. That's all it means. Guna and karma. Guna, karma, cha. Vibhag. Based on gunas, vibhag of gunas is the vibhag of karma. Vibhag means based on the division of gunas. And gunas, I'm repeating, sattva, rajas, tamas. These are our internal colors that all human beings, all living beings, irrespective of which era you were in, if you were in the 5th century BC or you'll be in the 50th century, no, 50-50. If you're going to be in 50-50 or you are in 5th century BC, all human beings till creation exists will have gunas and vibhaga. Based on that vibhag of separate gunas is the separate karmas that they do. Tathahi, now he's explaining what Shankara has also said. It doesn't need actual explanation. We'll just read it for the thought to be complete. Tathahi, sattva pradhana brahmanaha. Brahman is sattva pradhan. Tesham cha satvikani, for them, sattvic nature. Shama dama adi karmani. We saw yesterday through the Gita verse also. Shama dama adi is their karmas. Sattva upasarjana rajaha pradhan. Rajas is pradhan, supported by sattva. So sattva is also high. Rajas is high. Sattva is also high. Kshatriyaha tesham cha tadrishani. For those Kshatriyas now, in that manner, the combination of predominance of sattva with high rajas, their karmas are shaurya, teja, prabhratini, etc. Tama upasarjana rajaha pradhana. When tamas is supporting rajas is high, but tamas is also fairly high. Sattva is on the lesser side. Vaishyaha tesham cha krishyadini tadrishin karmani. So krishi adi is their karmas. Tama pradhanaha, tamas pradhan. Shudraha tesham cha tamasani. They are tamasic pradhan, which means rajas and sattva both are less. High is only tamas. So there's very little activity and there is hardly any clarity. Shudra tamasani traivarnika shushrushani shushrushadini. For them, serving, shushrusha means serving, service. Serving the 3 varnas, the other 3. That is their karmani. That is their karmas. Iti, in this manner, manushe loke vyavasthitani. So when in the Moolam, Krishna says, I have created this creation with Chaturvarnyam. Madhusudanji's word vyavasthitani gives completion of the thought. What is that? That creation means that's the vyavastha. It's exactly as an organization. You have one chairman, you have a few managers, general managers, and then you have a few more supervisors than that, and then you have a lot of workers, and then you have a lot of helping staff. That's how the vyavastha is. He says, I have created this vyavastha. throughout you will have lesser people who are Brahmins. You will have more than them Kshatriyas, more than them Vaishyas, and a lot more. Most population will be Shudras. And as yesterday you were asking, Divya, within ourselves also, it is not the birth, it is only our qualities. Within ourselves, there may be variations by some incidents or by some occasions, but our basic nature predominantly will remain that what we will swabhavikally, reflexively act upon, that indicates our nature, not it's like season and weather. Our weather today can be uncalled for, cold or rainy, whereas the season is, which is the season? Cold, winter. Winters have started. So in winter, you need not have a rain, but you may have an occasional rain during winter also. But just because you've had rain in winter, it doesn't make the season change. So, in that sense, our basic gunas, fundamental, what is swabhavik to us, doesn't change easily. It can be changed, but the way to change it is not to change the gunas. The way he says, my vyavastha that I have given, each one operating from the same vyavastha. So if I find myself with very little clarity and very little activity, and I can only do something when I'm told to do something, then I ought to only be doing that with an attitude of service to the others, whoever's told me. That attitude of service that I will have will be my Ishwararpanam, will be what will gradually bring me to my next stage. That my tamas will be overcome, I will get into rajas, and my sattva will shine a little more. When tamas will get less, rajas will increase, and sattva will still not be there because sattvic high content is the last. So, if supposing someone has predominance of rajas supported by tamas, and I find myself only a vyapari, that I can only think in terms of mera faida or mera nuksan, and I cannot think easily about other things, then I should do that only and then serve through that. So I do a lot of uh, charitable work and interest, but as Ishwararpan. So between the Shudra and the Vaishya, what is common?
Tamas.
Tamas.
Hmm. What was common in terms of growth? What is Krishna asking us to do? How will they grow?
Service. Service.
So, how?
Nishkam.
To Karma Yoga.
Huh. Correct. So, between both of them, the common is both of them have to do arpanam, service.
So can we say make the best of it?
What is make
Like,
the best?
like whatever gunas you have been given.
Yeah, yeah.
So try to utilize that to the maximum with Ishwararpan.
Huh.
Don't try to change it so much.
Exactly. That's the right thing. That's why he said stick to your swadharam. Paradharma is?
Yeah.
You don't need to pass.
Paradharma is
when you're going against your
but what is
whatever
what is the word he used?
Will lead to path.
Okay, yes, and the verse was Shreyan hi swadharmo vigunaha bhayavaha. Paradharma is bhayavaha. So there is no need to change whatever your gunas are. So I'm coming to the third guna. So whoever is a Kshatriya means you have a high rajas but also high sattva. You have a clarity and you have also activity in you. If you are that, what should you do? Do your gunas, karmas. He said, मैंने व्यवस्था बनाई है. This is Ishwar's व्यवस्था. I don't have to change here. Bhagwan has put me in this vyavastha, in this guna by my own karma. How do I evolve from there? How do I grow? He's put me in this vyavastha for my growth, for my sake. So what do? I use that quality as Ishwararpan. Where what he's telling Arjun here, who's a Kshatriya. And if I'm a Brahmin, high sattva, some little rajas, and very little tamas, then I do those qualities, but as Ishwar Seva, Ishwar Arpanam. All four varnas have different karmas, but to all four, the equality is that only when they act in accordance to their swadharam and do it as yoga, as karam yoga, will they also evolve. So the change in their gunas will come accordingly.
Ishwar Arpan is common to all.
Ishwararpan is common to all, and prasada buddhi is common. So karam yoga is common to all, irrespective of your varnas. That is the way to change your fundamental gunas. Okay, so then evam tarhi, now he's connecting it to the next verse. Evam tarhi, yeah, we have time. Vishama swabhav chaturvarnya srishtatvena tava vaishamyam durvaram iti ashankya na iti aha. Means then, how do I explain this? Vishama swabhava chaturvarnya srishtatvena. So you are the one who has created this chaturvarnya. That means you are the one who has given the different natures. Vishama swabhav, sabke alag alag swabhav. Everyone having different swabhav. By creating chaturvarnyam, you are the one who has given different swabhav. Srishtatvena. Tava. To you. Vaishamyam durvaram. To you then is the flaw of segregation, division. किसी को सत्वा ज्यादा दिया है, किसी को तमस ज्यादा दिया है. This वैषम्य तस्य विषम स्वभावस्य चातुर्वर्ण्यस्य व्यवहार दृष्ट्या. So to you, you are the creator now of all this. विषमता. तस्य विषम स्वभावस्य, उस विषम स्वभाव का, which is based on चातुर्वर्ण का, व्यवहार दृष्टि से कर्तारम अपि. I am karta, but from vyavharik drishti. Mam, but me, paramartha drishtya, from paramarthik drishti. Vidhi, no, akartaram avyayam. I am akarta and avyayam. How is he akarta? Paramarthikari? Because the hetu is, the reason is, nirahankarattvena akshina mahimanam. Because even when I have done this creation, chaturvarnyam, I have no ahankar. I am the karta, but I have no ahankar of karta. It's a very subtle thing. To jiva, to individuals, karta is synonym of ahankar. मैंने किया. I am doing. I will do. I only do. My arrogation of my doing is on my upadhi, on my organs of action, on my body, on me. My sense of doing is my arrogation of my limitation of the body. But Ishvara says, when I have created all this, nirankaraha, I am without ahankar. And therefore, akshina, Mahima. My Mahima is not falling. Akshina means it does not get destroyed. I do not slip down from my stature of being Paramatma, even when I do the creation. I am the Karta with reference to the creation. It is. I am Karta with reference to the creation. No doubt about it, but that's only Vyavharik. Paramarthically, I have no ahankar of my creation. I am not arrogating I did it. I don't have any tadatmyam with the samashti upadhi also. Therefore, I remain akarta. And because I remain akarta and avyaya, changeless, my stature is changeless. Akshina is a beautiful word. Sheena means जो धीरे धीरे destroy होता है, क्षीण हो रहा है. In one of the Upanishads, I think it's Mundaka Upanishad, if I'm not, maybe one of the Upanishads, the example given somewhere I recollect is when you have at least I remember that now. If you have some construction done at home and you have those bories, plastic or whatever, in which they bring cement or reti and things like that, and you leave it outside, what happens to that bag of in which that sand and everything was brought?
It slowly depletes.
It slowly starts to break up. Sheen उसे कहते हैं. That slowly it starts disintegrating. It gets destroyed from its structure and name. That is called sheen hona. What is sharir also? शरीर का स्वभाव भी क्षीण होना है.
Same thing.
Same thing. Slowly it starts to disintegrate and decay. Bhagwan says, and there's a huge clue. I hope next class we'll be able to catch up. There's a huge clue over here when you see the Bhashyam, Shankara's and Madhusudanji's in this verse. We get this huge clue of how Ahankar and Karta are inseparable. And what prevents and becomes a bandhak for Chitta Shuddhi is this Ahankar. And so he says, my Mahima remains Akshina. I remain Bhagwan, full, all Shad Gunaha, Paripunaha, Sarva Shakti, etc. I am Bhagavan. मेरी क्षीण नहीं होती because I am Nirankaraha. Therefore, know me to be Akarta Apyaya.
I think, Diptiji, for a person like us, I'm talking about myself, that if you can appreciate this Madhusudan's Bhashyam only by, I think, having a lot of Chit Shuddhi, only then you can understand God's being a Karta, I feel.
Yeah, but at this point, God, yeah, you're right in a way. But the emphasis is not so much to say God, okay, yeah, okay, fine. No, what you're saying is right. In its own stand, it is right. You're right.
Is that understanding okay?
Yeah, correct. Same thing, Krishna. Actually, it's Krishna who's saying that. Madhusudanji is only explaining it.
Correct.
He says, know me to be a karta and apyaya. That's the verse, Moolam part. Okay. So we will, I think, conclude here. Where are we? Here. So next class we will do what is the verse? 14th verse. So how he is akarta and avyaya, he is explaining in the 14th verse. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phalesit spriha. So I am nirankaraha when it said without ahankar. What does that mean? He is explaining in the 14th verse. Okay. Can one of you do the Shanti mantra?
I'll do it.
Yeah, please.
ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखात् भवेत् असतो मा सत्त्वमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभि परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथ्वी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं शोकरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
Thank you, everyone. Yes, thank you everyone.
धन्यवाद दीप्ति जी.
Dhanyavad, everyone.
Thank you, Deepti ji.
Dhanyavad.